Welcome to Politics News Wolf US channel. The war in Ukraine continues. The war, which started on the morning of February 24, continues at full speed. The calls for support on behalf of the Ukrainian President Zelensky country begun to be. Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu denied allegations that Israel would not send weapons and ammunition to Ukraine in the statement to Digital Nephite. As federal, the Israel government will send military aid to the Ukraine government. Netanyahu said he was definitely considering such aid. Also, the Israel government said it is ready to hand over the air missile defense system to the Ukrainian government. NA said he was ready to remediate between the two countries if Ukraine, Russia, and the United States agreed. Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Marva said after Nanu's statements, all attempts to deploy weapons, even if they remain at the level of, will lead to an escalation of the crisis. Israel has condemned Russia's war on Ukrainian territory last year, but has joined Western sanctions against Russia. El Cohen, Israel-appointed foreign minister, said his country will continue humanitarian aid to kill, but will speak less publicly about Russia's war against Ukraine. Russia has again hit Ukraine with Koreas and other missiles hitting targets from the east to west, including critical infrastructure. Ukrainian officials said a 79-year-old woman was killed and at least 7 others injured in the widespread attack. Ukrainian Chief of Staff Russian forces used various types of missiles and fired 36 missiles in a 2-hour explosion overnight. The attacks come at the time when questions continue to be raised about Russia's ability to launch a new offensive, which Western officials have warned for weeks. 8 forces that Moscow's forces are severely depleted, with network intelligence saying Russia is losing 2,000 men every 100. UK Defence Minister Bail said on Wednesday. Estimates show 97% of the anti-Russian army is in Ukraine. While the International Institute for Strategic Studies says Russia has lost about half of its top battle tanks since Vladimir Putin nearly launched invasion. The think tank's Military Balance 2023 report, a highly anticipated annual Bible about country's military greatness, offers a bleak outlook for Kremlin at the time when Kyiv is poised to receive Western-made Main B tanks and other high-powered weapons. Pictured a reveal of Edar in the Donut region of Ukraine where fierce fighting was taking place with Russian troops. February 10. Ukrainian officials said on Thursday that targets in the northwest, southeast, and center of the country had been hit by Russian missile strikes. They said defenses in the south of the country had shut down. 8 caliber missiles launched into the country from a ship in the Black Sea. But Andrew Yama, head of the Ukrainian presidential office, said Russian forces changed their tactics for the offensive by deploying what he described as active reconnaissance and false targets. He didn't provide further details, but Russian forces may be using the attacks to test weak spots in Ukrainian air defenses, which have been powered by Western supply FON systems and have had high success rates. Against previous Russian missiles and little drones, the district governor said one of the night strikes had caused casualties and destroyed homes in the eastern sea of Pablo Hart. Governor Sir said a 79-year-old woman died, and at least 7 people were injured, including 2 who were later hospitalized. The governor added that to strike, destroy 7 homes, damaged 30 more and caused a fire at an industrial factory. That emergency services extinguished within hours. Maxim Koski, the regional governor Investor Ukraine, said a fire broke out in a critical infrastructure facility in 7V province. He did not offer any further details. Pictured 2 damaged Russian military vehicles in a field near Wolf. 7V is located in the westernmost part of Ukraine, and therefore relatively unsketched from Russian attacks when compared to the most intense eastern cities of the war. But while Moscow continues its efforts to demoralize Ukraine, the city and its surroundings are still under fire from Russian missiles. Pictured, a Ukrainian soldier writes at up a BPM-1 infantry fighting vehicle in the frontline town of Pout in the Donetsk region of Ukraine, February 25, amid Russia's offensive on. New study reveals that rising energy prices triggered by Russia's war against Ukraine could plunge up to 141 million people worldwide into extreme poverty. The scientists investigated the impact of rising household prices in 116 countries, including the UK, USA, France, India and China. Experts have found that the average energy cost for households globally has increased between 62.2% and 112.9%. Since the conflict began on February 24 last year, this pushes 7 to 8 million to 141 million people into extreme poverty, defined as living as less than $1.90 a day. It came after experts predicted that natural gas and electricity prices will be unlikely to return to normal by the 2030s. The study published today in A Natural Energy was done by an international team of experts from the University of Birmingham and the University of Maryland. Researchers say we are in a global energy crisis in which oil, coal, and natural gas prices are skyrocket. This crisis has pushed some economies into recession, causing higher inflation and putting painful costs of living pressures on households around the world. They write in the paper. Our research highlights the need to mitigate the rising costs of needs caused by increase in energy prices, particularly for food and particularly low-income households. Russia has some of the world's largest reserves of natural gas and oil, fossil fuels found deep in rock formations below the earth. After this invasion of Ukraine, however, it faced sanctions involving countries that no longer buy or reduce their gas purchases from Russia. This has had the effect of boosting demand for gas from other sources such as Norway, which has generally led to higher wholesale prices. Energy companies such as British Gas, which announced the profit of $3.3 billion for 2022, passed these rising costs to the public by raising their energy bills. The experts calculated the change in energy cost burden ratios for the study, a measure that reverse additional energy costs. In households that expenditures compared to pre-crisis, they found significant differences between and different countries, defined by household consumption patterns and fossil fuel depend. Experts have found that in low-income countries such as those sub-Saharan Africa, wealthier households tend to have heavier burden rates of energy costs, partly because poor households in low-income countries still don't have access to electricity. Meanwhile, poor households tend to have higher rates in high-income countries such as the UK, USA, and Germany. Households in sub-Saharan African countries are most affected in terms of total energy cost burden. One example, Rwanda in East Africa solved overall energy cost burden ratio increased by 11.1%, 3 times global average, which is 3.2%. Globally, wealthier groups tend to have higher energy costs on high value-added goods and services, while poor households tend to spend more to meet basic needs such as food and energy. High energy prices affect household finances in 2 ways. Thank you for watching the video. If you find it useful, please comment and share the video for us. It will make our channel more known. See you in the following videos. Thank you very much.